To a big international story we're watching this morning. Zambia and the Zambian people are heading to the polls today. Here's the big question. Is the president, Edgar Lungu, going to retain power? Let's take you all the way over to Lusaka now, where I'm joined by Lusaka-based journalist. It's Carien du Plessis who's joining us this morning. Hello to you, Carien. There's so much to talk about. The youth vote, so very important. 16 candidates, the economy, political problems, and of course, the main rival for Edgar Lungu, that being Carien du Plessis. So what is the sense that you're getting this morning, how this is going to start playing out?
Well, it's difficult to say, Gareth. I mean, it's been a very close race. And if you remember in 2016, President Edgar Lungu won by only 100,000 votes. And there are 7 million registered voters in Zambia. So that was a fairly slim margin. And opinion polls have been a bit unreliable and used for propaganda purposes here in Zambia, as they have in many parts of the world before, and even in our own country in South Africa. So it's really difficult to get a sense of what's going to happen, to get an overall sense. I haven't been outside of Lusaka, so I haven't really been able to get a sense of what's going on in the country. But judging from yesterday, the Patriotic Front, Lungu's Patriotic Front, looks strong, but it's again, it's difficult to say because of COVID-19, rallies have been banned. So nobody's really been able to have a rally. President Lungu had a virtual rally yesterday, and the opposition candidate, the UPND's Carien du Plessis, had an address to the international media, which was also broadcast, streamed yesterday. But in terms of handing out T-shirts and in terms of road shows and, just sort of being out on the street, the Patriotic Front has been looking really strong. I mean, we went to look for a rally or for some campaigning yesterday from the opposition party, but we couldn't find it. So it's really difficult to say, but it's going to be a tight contest. And the people I've spoken to, a lot of people are unhappy with the economy. They want to see change. And they sort of, they don't say who they'll vote for, but I kind of get the sense they might vote for the opposition. So people might be quietly going out to vote for the opposition, in which case we could see Ichilema do really well.
The irony, Carien, isn't it? Let me come in on that. Sorry, Carien, there's a bit of a delay between our line here. I think the irony of this particular election campaign is we've seen in the past Edgar Lungu, every time there is campaigning, that he talks about roads, infrastructure, engineering advancements, and a lot of that has been done. I know you'll agree, but that's also come with a debt. It's come with a massive bill to have all that infrastructure. The irony of that, where I'm going with this, Carien, is that has now left the economy in tatters, it seems, as well. And I'm seeing here from Bloomberg reporting in that area $13 billion worth of debt to get all that infrastructure in place. And that's what it seems most people are upset about.
Well, yes. People, even myself, I was speaking to a friend. It's difficult to understand the big economy. It's difficult to understand all these dollars and whatever. And you'll remember that Zambia was the first to default on its debt in Africa during the COVID pandemic. But the thing that people do understand is when they go to the shops and they buy cooking oil, in the last year or two, the price of a bottle of, I think, 750 mils of cooking oil went up from 9 kwacha to about 40 kwacha. So that it's sort of, almost more than tripled. And sugar, somebody said to me, Zambia grows sugar, and the price of sugar has also more than tripled. So that's the kind of thing people are feeling. And people who I can see who had enough money to live from a few years ago now have very little, and they're struggling to make ends meet. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that people...
Exactly what's going to be the turning point in this. We've seen it in Zambia before. Many people are saying it's time to see it in South Africa as well. The damage to your pockets is what's going to drive the polls. And when we start talking about sugar going up, the cost of everyday living going up, Carien, I'm sure we're going to be seeing possibly, if not a change, at least a much tighter contest. Carien, we're going to leave it there for now. I know we're going to speak again on this as well. Freelance journalist in Lusaka for us, Carien du Plessis, talking about the Zambian elections. They're heading to the polls today.